I'm sure everyone knows about Pet Simulator, a game made by Big Games, the same studio that owns the biggest group in Roblox. This is also the same studio that made the biggest simulator game on Roblox, Pet Simulator X, which has nearly 9 billion visits, making it top 13 most visited games. And through all the controversy with Big Games, there is one that has been mentioned pretty often in the past months: stealing. Well, it's not really stealing. More like copying, since they do make their own assets or use public ones. But that has been a pretty big topic for some time already, and I think it's worth starting with their latest project, Steal a Pet. The game released just about 2 weeks ago and have created a fair bit of drama. Unlike their other recent games with pets, such as Pets Go and Pet Simulator 99, it did not get any teaser or trailer on their official channel. Instead, the only promotion they really had for this game was this Twitter post saying something will happen tomorrow. And already then, people were guessing this would be Steal a Pet game because of leaks of developer products. And so the game released, while also releasing drama around it. Just like the game it was taking the idea from, which is steal a brain rot, you had to buy pets, protect them, earn more currency, get better pets, and repeat. The only key differences between this game and Steal a Brain Rot are basically the style, which in this game is exactly the same as in Pet Simulator, and obviously, instead of Brain Rot, you got pets that earn you coins. Anyway, why did people hate on this game and Big Games? Steal a Brain Rot is basically a new trend, and many games just like it have been made by other people already, like hundreds if not thousands. Some of them even have thousands of players. Clearly shows this trend is pretty hyped right now. And now when Big Games did it, people weren't happy about it. Thing is, there is a difference when a multi-millionaire studio does it and when a small developer does it. And obviously that is not the only reason. Big Games have bad reputation because of how known they are for making their games not only pay to win, but also adding gambling to them in form of Robux eggs and Forever Pack. People just do not like it when games add loot boxes to their games. Some countries even put age restriction on Robux eggs because they act just like loot boxes, which is pretty much gambling but for in-game items instead. Steal a Pet is far from the only time when Big Games would take a different game's idea and use it for themselves. Most of the time, those would be Pet Simulator 99 updates, and one of the latest updates that also had quite a bit of drama is the Grow an Egg update. Almost 2 months ago, Big Games decided to make an update where you would have to grow eggs and hatch them into pets, obviously. And just seeing the amount of likes per views on this post kind of says it all. And you know it's bad when replies with much less views get more likes or about as many likes as the actual post. Going back a few days to the post where they were teasing the upcoming update, we're seeing the exact same picture where replies would get many more likes per views than the original post. But unlike previous updates like this, Grow an Egg actually ended up staying as a permanent world you can still join. And just like Grow a Garden, you buy eggs and hatch them into pets with random weight and random buff. And the other event that ended up staying as a permanent world, unlike other events, is the Fishing World one. It actually came out right before Grow an Egg update. But unlike that update, it didn't receive nearly as much backlash. Fishing World was obviously inspired by Fish, that one fishing game that used to be one of the top games earlier this year. You got the islands with level requirement, and of course, when you would catch different fish-themed pets, they would have different size and different weight. Those two things are definitely taken from Fish. But overall, fishing did exist in this game since day one of release, so unlike Grow an Egg, it wasn't as much of a copy, therefore receiving less negativity. But if we go back some time more, just like 1 year ago, there was a different popular trend on Roblox, the RNG games. Many RNG games were getting thousands of players, and the biggest one was Souls RNG, which even today has 30,000 players. And Big Games wanted to be a part of the RNG trend too, so what they did is make an event in Pet Simulator based on the RNG games. It even had the stud texturing for the map. If we go back to August 20th, 24, you can see this spike in player count for Pet Simulator. That was caused by the said RNG event. It ended up being the most successful event in Pet Simulator 99 because even people who didn't play this game joined it just for that event. I know a few of those people personally. And seeing the success, Preston, who's the owner of Big Games, decided to make a tweet with a poll asking the community if they wanted a Pet Simulator RNG standalone game, and as you can see, most of the people voted for yes. And that's where Pets Go enters the chat. This game has a teaser, which ended up getting way more views than any other video on the official YouTube channel that shows the hype the game had. And when it released, it did get a ton of players, over 200,000, and it even peaked at over 470,000. Pets Go was pretty good at first. I personally actually liked the release and first update. And one thing about this game that didn't make players angry, it wasn't completely copying Soul's RNG as example. Instead, they actually made it like Pet Simulator, but with RNG, having breakables and a skill tree, what I like to call it. This was making the game more original than other RNG games, instead of being just like the other ones. And at first it was pretty free to play. But quickly the game was getting more and more pay to win game passes and products. It's probably safe to say that this game is the most pay-to-win game Big Games have made that obviously wasn't liked by the players, and therefore the game ended up losing a lot of them in months. And now that Big Games decided to make a new Pet Simulator spin-off game, which is Steal a Pet, why wouldn't Big Games do the same thing with this game that they have done with Pets Go? And unlike Pets Go, this game is pretty much kind of a reskin of Steal a Brain Rot, with just a few small things that are different. Like, for example, having a huge egg that later hatches into a huge pet, obviously. This game isn't very pay-to-win yet, but it does seem to slowly get more, like the gate keys. It wouldn't surprise me if they were to add something like Forever Pack or Robux eggs in the future too. And with the topic of this video being how Big Games have copied other games for their updates or even games now, I have to mention the Yeet a Pet situation. One of the last updates in Pet Simulator X, back in July 2023, was Yeet a Pet event. And back then, there was a game called Yeet a Friend, which was sort of popular, so Big Games decided to pretty much take the idea and turn it into a Pet Simulator event. Even the creator of the original game quoted it on Twitter. This was probably the first case when people were getting angry on Big Games for taking other game ideas and just turning them into events like this. And to be fair, many were also copying Big Games, or even straight up stealing from them. A lot of simulator games with pets take the inspiration from Pet Simulator X, or 99. And Josh, also known as Coilist, who's a community manager in the official Big Games Discord server, made this famous post on Twitter. Here, he basically says that people need to get more creative and make something unique, instead of copying Big Games. And this post aged worse than milk, you could say, because seeing everything I mentioned in this video, up until now with Steal a Pet, this post just doesn't make Big Games look good to say the least. And people always make sure to remind Big Games of this post every time they take an idea from other game, either for Pet Simulator event or even an entire game as we've seen now. You may have even seen it already earlier in this video. It just doesn't really look that great for Big Games, you know. Anyway, make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. I would really appreciate that. You can watch one of these videos while waiting for a new one. They are good too. Join my Discord server. You can chat with me and other members. The link is in description, and I will see you soon.